Hey everyone, James from Merchant Spring here for another episode of Marketplace Masters, where we bring you insights from industry leaders around the world. So, Tim, thank you so much for making time to chat with me today. I just wanted to start off by getting you to introduce yourself and kind of explain what it is you do in the Amazon space.
Thanks, James. Look, we're obviously honoured to have been invited to talk with you. A bit of background. I've been selling on Amazon since 2015. Really, got to be honest, thought it was a scam when I first got into it. A friend of mine signed me up for a course, and of course, I thought he'd just wasted his money, and one thing led to another. And of course, it's not a scam; it's a real business model, and we did very well and built and progressed a brand around the world, and still selling that to this day. Enabled me and my family to travel the world for a year just on Amazon. And I guess I've spent the last 6 years now. I feel like I've been learning an obscure computer language that nobody cared about until recently. And all of a sudden now, we had the idea, a business partner of mine, Rob, had the idea that perhaps Australian brands would be interested in Amazon as a tool. They'd also be interested in Amazon as a threat, because obviously Amazon can be very damaging to brands, and it can also be a huge opportunity to brands. And through my prior industry, I've been 25 years a retail pharmacist, and bought and sold retail pharmacies around Australia. And so I've got a good head for retail. And I guess just through my network, people were asking me, knew I was doing a little bit of Amazon, and they were asking me, particularly in the pharma space, in the drug space, how do we do how does this Amazon thing work? And they have a lot of misconceptions. And so we've realized that as a business, there's a good opportunity for us to step brands through the Amazon journey, avoiding the pitfalls and taking advantage of the high road. So I guess we're your Amazon guide, as it were, for Australian brands. And we don't only work for Australian brands now, but that's how we started. Yeah.
Interesting. And just for my interest, whereabouts is Machete Systems based?
So we're based out of Melbourne. Our head office is in Melbourne. I actually don't live in Melbourne, which is a good thing at the moment. So I live in regional Victoria, and of course, in this business model, you can be anywhere on the globe, and still, as long as you've got good internet, you can provide. So yeah, I live in regional Victoria, but yeah, majority of our clients are in Melbourne, Sydney, and Brisbane, and some in WA. And some overseas.
Yeah, awesome. For those of you in the US listening to this, Victoria and Melbourne in general, or Melbourne specifically, is in lockdown. So my team is leaving regional freedom.
So my business partner and his team are all locked down, and I just get on a call each morning and just laugh at them. So I'm very compassionate like that. So
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Well, look, let me hit you up with the first question, Tim. So obviously in 2021, this year, we have different timing for Prime Day versus last year. So what's your, I guess, view or plans on the opportunity to drive growth this quarter, given that we have completely different timing this year?
Yeah, look, it's interesting. Australia's Amazon journey is is definitely at a different place than the rest of the world. We're only 3 years old here in Australia, and events like Prime Day, Cyber Monday, and Black Friday, these sorts of high volume events, which I'm obviously very familiar with selling in the UK and the USA for many years, they're a critical part of your yearly inventory cycle. And you can get some very, very tidy checks coming out of those activities if you do them right. In Australia, less so. So we're actually not that focused on the timing of Prime down here. It's an event, and we certainly offer it to our clients when it comes up, but it's not actually part of our core growth strategy for them. Our brands tend to be on an early journey with Amazon. They tend to be needing assistance with SKU creation, catalog creation, build out, advertising setup, optimization, and these sorts of, early stage activities. And that's where we're moving the needle more than, say, things like a Prime event or a Cyber Monday, which is topical at the moment, and they're coming up shortly. And so, yeah, we're not that not that concerned about it, which is, I guess, perhaps a little controversial. But it's go forward 5 years, definitely, it's going to be a huge deal, and I think we'll see the trends that we saw in America and the UK follow here. But right now, it's not that critical for our brands, although obviously they're offered opportunity to participate through our reps and things whenever they come up. So yeah, I hope that answers your question.
No, it does, and it's I like a controversial answer. Very good.
I'm not trying to be controversial. That's just you can understand that our brand's on a very, very different journey than perhaps someone who's been on Amazon a decade or so. Yeah,
it makes sense, and I think it's interesting. The one other interviewee we had mentioned that one of his main focuses for this time of year is getting the basics right. I mean, that was his language, but it says it basically speaks to the same thing that yours.
It is the same thing because, as well, I'm sure a lot of your listeners know, getting the basics right on Amazon makes 80% of the difference. The old 80-20 rule. It's not really worth flogging a whole bunch of stock through a Prime event or a Cyber event if your optimization's wrong or if your complete listing setup is wrong. So getting that basics right is really the focus of our work in the early phases with these clients. And as we move into the second and third year with them, that's when we start looking at expansion off Amazon advertising, Prime events, et cetera, et cetera. So yeah, it's build the foundations and then you can build the building on top of it. That's how we see it.
Yeah, fantastic. I think that's very, very pragmatic in terms of approach. So brings me to my next question, Tim, and I know you've done an article on this very topic. So it's good timing.
I haven't published it yet, but we're working on the research at the moment. Yes.
But I wanted to ask, a lot of sellers that we talk to, they talk about the cost of shipping containers right now.
Yeah.
So there's the cost of getting products here and there and everywhere to FBA and the like. So what are your thoughts on this? How do you manage it?
It's one of the biggest challenges I think we're going to face as an e-com industry in the next 12 months, possibly even longer. So we're hearing all sorts of anecdotal things, and also some of our researchers uncovering, depending on who you're listening to, the cost per cubic meter of freight via containers is going anywhere from 100 to 460% rise in what you have been paying, say, 12 to 18 months ago, which is, it's hard to compare 12 months because everything was shut down and there was no shipping going on. But now it's opening up again, and what businesses were used to paying is just not on the cards anymore. And that's not it. It's not only the cost, it's the delay as well. So we're finding, like, we used to ship to LA ports for our clients because obviously Australia to LA or China to LA or wherever they're getting Taiwan to LA, wherever they're getting manufacturing, was much quicker to go into LA and then distribution through there. LA is not even an option at the moment. So we're having to reroute shipping to Houston, or we're rerouting shipping to New Jersey, which seems to be the best option for us at the moment. And that's creating weeks of delay. And because New Jersey's everyone's doing the same thing and rerouting, now that's getting really busy. And so it's a double whammy, because not only are you paying way more than you used to for freight, but you're also getting way more delay. So this inventory cycle planning that we're having to do is really throwing things out. And we're at some stages with some of our clients where their best sellers are selling out, and that can be tens of thousands of dollars per month in lost sales on those SKUs, and there's nothing we can do about it. Just can't get the stuff in, and air freight's not even a great option either. So yeah, I think it's a huge challenge, and I'm really worried about how it looks.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's certainly hearing similar kind of stories or kind of explanations from other people. Yeah. Hopefully we see some sort of bounce back. I mean, that's what. Yeah.
It's like I don't see the trigger point for opening up these channels, because there's such pent up demand and such limited capacity. My brother actually works in the shipping industry, so he's a ship's pilot, and just even the amount of ships coming into Melbourne as a port is down heaps during COVID, and there's just that pent up demand that's running, like the old pig in the python analogy. I think we're just going to have to work our way through it, but I think it could be long term. I don't think it's a short term problem. So, for people out there that are doing inventory planning, add 50 to 100% of what you think, because it's going to take you that long to get it.
Interesting. Great points, Tim. Great. Brings me to my final question, we've seen a lot of changes on Amazon recently, like both globally and in Australia. So what are your predictions for 2022? Now, your answer can be anything, Tim. So go nuts.
That's I hope I'm not held to it. Look, we've been working with Amazon Australia for 3 years, and we've been working with Amazon USA and the UK for a lot longer. We're now working with Amazon Singapore as well. And my predictions are they will open up New Zealand shortly. I think there'll be a fulfillment center in New Zealand potentially within the next 12 months. So there'll be an amazon.co.nz store. I'm confident. I predict that they'll do $2 billion this year, which is $1 billion more than what they did last year. I predict that the software capabilities of Amazon Australia have always lagged the other marketplaces. So what we can do as far as features and tips and things like that, always been more advanced in America. The lag time between the delay we saw in those features rolling out in the UK was quite significant. I think that lag time shrinking dramatically when those features are being rolled out in emerging marketplaces like Australia and Singapore. So I think we'll catch up quicker to the US than the UK did as far as features and functionality goes. So I guess they're my 3 bold predictions for Amazon in 2022. And I think it will become the significant e-commerce player in Australia. If not in 2022, then in 2023, as far as in giving eBay a real shake.
Yeah, very interesting, Tim. I think, I know a lot of sellers that would be very happy to see those additional levers available to them in Australia.
Oh, for sure, yeah.
And also I did this presentation a while ago on the traffic growth of Amazon Australia, which I think mirrors your prediction of Amazon being the soon to be big player here in Australia, at least.
We did some research in Singapore just the other day, and it showed that in 2021, Q2, Amazon was number 4 with about 3.5 million searches a month. And then you had, I think it's Lavazza and Shopee. I think Shopee was number 1, then Lavazza and one other one. I actually can't remember now. And just fast forward 12 months, Amazon's doubled its monthly search. Lavazza's come down by 1 million and Shopee's only gone up by a little bit. So even in Singapore, where they had such a, I'll say, rocky start, their acceleration is just breathtaking, and I think Australia is going to show the same thing. People often ask us, "Oh, why don't you do eBay and why don't you do, Shopee and these sorts of other marketplaces?" And my answer is, look, we'd rather be an expert in one market than a sort of a jack of all trades in lots of markets, and that suits our business. And if you're going to be an expert in one market, then surely Amazon is the pick out of all of them as to what you want to be expertise in. So. Yeah, that's our business philosophy. I hope it proves to be right. But yeah, we're comfortable in the neighborhood we're in.
Yeah,
for sure.
Fantastic, Tim. No, it all makes sense. And look, I'll leave it there, as I'm sure you need to get back to your regional freedoms. So thank you again.
Thanks,
for
James.
making time. And we'll have you back on perhaps early next year to see if those predictions come true.
Yeah, well, thank you. It'll be a pleasure. Thanks, James. So appreciate the work you guys do as well. We love your program. So
thanks, Tim.